G'day folks. Had a little, we'll call it a run-in with a local politician in Brisbane. Her name is Grace earlier today. Now the sad part is when she's come in to where I go for my shower and laundry, because I live in a bus, so I haven't fitted out the bus yet. I haven't finished fitting it out and it's not real easy on a pension, but beside the point. When she walked in, she brought these 3 fruitcakes as a Christmas present, which is admirable. She's probably never paid for them, but beside the point. She said g'day, and as I was being the smart ass that I am, I said, "Oh, how many dead bodies did you trip over getting in here delivering them?" Alluding to the fact that, stuff all people are dying from this COVID, which I think is now being misrepresented by still calling it a pandemic, because it's not. It's not a pandemic by any stretch of the imagination now. The only reason it's still getting called a pandemic is because the mainstream media is still hypnotising you for it. Now, apart from a few altercations or a few words that we exchanged, she went into the defence mode as politicians do, and I've noticed a bit of a scenario that some politicians have, and I'd likely to point out that it's usually Labor. They usually make themselves out to be the victim, or they usually make the person they're talking out to be the aggressor, or they change the topic. Because as soon as I mentioned something about a bloke named Dr. Robert Malone, and I tried to guide the conversation there, she went right. There's only me. I only believe that she knew who this bloke was. Like, she can't be that complete moron without knowing who Robert Malone is, who is the inventor of the mRNA vaccine. Now, look him up, and because he's getting quite vocal about his stand on these mandates and the lockdowns and what the governments are doing, and they're injecting it into kids, which I completely disagree with. But of course they double down. Like all these people who are government officials and politicians and chief health officers and so on, they're like gamblers who have lost money, and they're doubling down and trying to win that money back, and they lose again, and then they double down again. So they're a complete pack of liars, a complete pack of, there's not enough words I can use that would describe them accurately, because they're basically all of them, all the bad words, liars, thieves, murderers, because many years ago they went looking for weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East and didn't find any weapons of mass destruction, but clearly got control of the oil fields. And while they were doing that, killed a couple of million Muslims in the meantime. So I sort of understand why the Muslims are pissed off. I don't understand why they kill innocent people, which, is right. That's another video again. So I'm going to see how it goes, because the last thing I said to her, which started the last argument, and because this is a charity, so a lot of the people that work there are lefties, because they're social workers, some of them. So they're real lefty socialist thinking type of people who don't like me having my free speech, and I kind of ruffle the feathers and shake the cage there a bit. So when she was just about going on her way out, I said to her, yeah, go on, keep going and mandating your fascism. And didn't that stir the hornet's nest? Well, straight away she's gone, I'm offended and I haven't apologised yet. Well, doesn't that sound a bit like council culture? Well, she's not going to get an apology. But beside the point, I think what will most likely happen is there'll be a discussion between management and myself, and I'll probably get barred. Maybe. I've had a few deep and meaningfuls with the management there, and they know that my point of views on the political corruption happening around the place, and the fact that I like to voice my opinion, and we're not in a communist country yet, and it still should be about free speech. And of course, everyone that was on her side, the socialist people, would interject with their voices raised, being derogatory to me, and it caused me to raise my voice. And of course, that would have made me look like a Karen. But beside the point, there were people there that support the point of view that I have. The idea is to get this conversation happening, and that politician did not want to talk about anything like that. Kept very skillfully avoiding the subject, and the usual stuff, trying to make me look bad, and she using the word anti-vaxxer, and I corrected her and said, no, it's a pro-choice. And of course she tries to make me look bad saying that. But beside the point, by all means, anyone who wants to come along to this establishment, it's a charity where it's a neighbourhood centre. So there are people there that go there with issues, and my issue is a lack of trust in the government. No one's perfect. So by all means, come along and start a conversation there with either like-minded people or people that have a different opinion, and see how you go. It's called the New Farm Neighbourhood Centre. It's Brunswick Street in New Farm, and I go there most days that it's open to shower or laundry. So if you're in for an open conversation, by all means, come along. If you have an opposing conversation, by all means, come along. Because this politician pretty well didn't want it, because I told her I go around and engage the politicians, and I offered her a half an hour interview. I said, give me a bit of time. I said, and I'll correlate some facts and some data, and then see how you go from there. Well, didn't she withdraw from that offer real quick? But beside the point, if I do get barred from this place, it'll only prove how fascistly communistic Nazism is taking control. Okay, I'll catch you all later.